Do you think marriage is a good idea for young men?
No, I think young men should learn how to become men. I would tell young people, man, you shouldn't look to get married. You shouldn't even look to get laid. You should leave women alone. You have nothing.
So it's not a good idea for young men to get married. So I think what he's saying there is, I tell people not to get married in the first place.
Right, period.
The thing is that I think men lack the experience to have the knowledge to recognize a valuable person.
Correct.
Like you have to live through it. So that's why he says
You need to get some experience and wisdom. I don't think young men should be marrying anyone. I think young men should become wise men before they marry, and they should become dependable men, not young.
they should become wise and dependable men. So in other words, if that's what that saying is, the girls want the winners.
Yeah.
So that's what he's saying. So if you're going to get there and you want a girl, you need to be a winner first. I think what a lot of guys do is they get some tail and they're like, oh, that's enough. And they stop escalating.
I agree. I think that they kind of get complacent. They're like, well, I got this girl. She was good enough for now. And maybe I should just settle down with her. But I don't really think they do the due diligence to look into the future.
Well, I think a lot of guys settle and they're too green. Because they don't like finally get something. Let me settle down. This is what you're supposed to do. The society says so.
I'm already in my 30s, this and that. And I think society kind of pushed that pressure on men to settle down by 30.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is the right age for men. I think that they're still, like you said, very green.
They're very green and they underestimate what their potential is.
Yeah. They underestimate how far they can go or where they're going because they're still just, in a sense, like men are just starting their journey at 30.
Yeah.
So it's like they really haven't become a whole lot typically.
Well, some men even get married before then.
Very true.
Late 20s, mid 20s, or
sometimes mid 20s, they get married to their high school girlfriend.
What happens is the girls are really placing a bet on the guy that he is going to produce something. And if they see that he produces something, it's better than nothing. And what happens is when the girls hit the wall, they choose the best option they have available. So what they're really doing is settling down. They want a provisioner.
Right.
And that's what I say. Get somebody that adores you. When a girl gets somebody they adore, they're really picky with their best hypergamous nature. Because they'll treat their best perceived option a lot better than settling with a provisioner.
I agree.
So there's the lover and there's a provisioner. There's the alpha and the beta. The beta is the provisioner. The alpha is the lover.
The lover.
And they'll treat the lover more because they're more afraid to lose
the lover.
When they get with the provisioner, they're always thinking about how they missed out with the lover.
That's very true.
And I don't think you can be young and dependable and wise and experienced. I think you need time. I know I did.
Yeah.
I think that's most men. They do. They need time.
Exactly.
Because you don't just become somebody like overnight. Like you have to gather those skills, gather those experiences, figure out what works and what doesn't. So I think that that's 100% true. Like you said, we don't really think marriage is good, period. But especially for young men.
Especially for men. I don't recommend that you get married at all because marriage is leverage. So yes, hopefully that you are with somebody that adores you so much that marriage doesn't become an issue. But I think that guys that do well in divorces kind of already accept that if they fail in marriage, they already accepted the loss.
Right.
So like, yeah.
They deemed it worth the risk already.
Yeah. So they kind of accept it. Like, if I lose, okay. But I gave it my shot and I keep moving. Because I think internally, it's like, I made $1 million. I can make another one. I found a girl. I can find another one.
Yeah.
Yes, it cost me a lot of money, this and that. But they do think different because a lot of guys that do think like that. We met some guys. What they think is, okay, I lost my ass to this. I'm moving on. Oh, well. But I'm not going to marry again.
Right. Or they're like, it was worth the learning experience. It was an expensive experience, but they learned a lot, not just about themselves, but about the women and how the shift happens when they get married.
So, I mean, relationships are expensive. Bad relationships are more expensive. And no relationship is connection bankruptcy.
Yes.
So even like the people that say, oh, I don't need anybody, we are here as social beings. We want to connect with somebody.
Yeah, because it's like if you don't need anybody, then that means you don't want any family. You don't have any friends. You don't even get along with people at work. Like, it's like you still need some sort of connection.
It's like being hungry, being thirsty. You need a home, a warm place, and you need relationships. So people that deny relationships is like, really, it doesn't sound. I think it's just emotion. It's a coping mechanism.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, if anything, it says more about the individual than of the opposite sex.
Anybody that really says, I don't want anybody or need anybody, they're in a position where the people that they want don't want them back. The people that
do want them,
they don't want them, and they're stuck in the middle.
They're like in limbo.
They don't make that connection.
They don't either decide to settle or they don't decide to improve to get the better options.
So like when we see people, especially women, and they're older and they have nobody, the first thing that we think, what's wrong with them? Nobody wants them or they don't want anybody. There's something wrong.
With the
There's something wrong because they don't come to reality of what the real market is. Either you have to change or you have to adapt, and they're not doing any of them. Men or women.
No, I agree.
So what his point is, the problem that a lot of guys have is that sometimes when you get into a relationship is that you get complacent. But if you decide that you're not going to get serious with anybody until you're later in life, then you're going to have to perform to even date along the trajectory. So that's why I always say play, replace, and upgrade as you escalate. But the key thing is you always have to escalate.
Yeah, but you also have to learn too from your relationships, because I think so many times people don't use those relationships as learning experiences. So they just kind of blame the other individual. Like I hear a lot of men that are just like, oh, she's just crazy. They're all crazy. And it's like,
and they're all narcissists.
And they're all So it's kind of like, well, did you learn anything? Did you get feedback? Like, did you look at yourself in that relationship, how you acted and so forth and such? Because a lot of times the way men act in a relationship kind of instigates how the woman responds. So some men don't realize that they actually put fuel to the fire. And it's kind of like they don't take that feedback and realize, okay, well, I shouldn't do that because when I do that, this is what it leads to. And they're just like, no, it's just all the woman's fault.
The problem that I see that men have is that society paints them that they should get married after they're with a woman, especially when the woman wants to settle down, when she wants a provisioner. There's a lot of shaming and guilt, and you guys have to get over that. It's not the right thing to do. You have to do what's right for you, and you shouldn't settle until you're 40 or 50 years old until you become wise men.
10,000%.
Until you have your shit straight. Until you really qualify and can identify and maintain a quality relationship. Because once you gather the skills, it's easier for you to follow through.
Absolutely.
Than just doing it and then adjusting, and you learn as you go along.
I think a lot of times too, people are like, I've been in a relationship for 2 or 3 years, and they're like, well, I guess the next step is to settle down. But it's like, if you're not growing and she's not growing, therefore the relationship is not growing. So even though you've been together for a few years, there might not be a future. That might be as good as it's going to get. That might be the ceiling, the peak. So I think a lot of men end up settling because they're like, well, she's been with me all this time. I've heard them say I owe it to her.
Yeah. That's when guys lose frame and they go to the feminine imperative to serve them. Because women look at everything as useless unless it benefits them.
Right.
And what happens is they'll use all kinds of manipulation, tactics, shame, guilt, and all that stuff.
Because it works.
Oh, you're not a man. This is what a real man does. Blah, 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 blah. First of all, women don't set the value for men. But they're very good at setting it because guys think that the pussy has all this magic. That's what it really is.
Right. And that's where the whole pussy power came from.
After a while, the magic's gone. It's a whole different deal. You actually want the treatment that the girl treats you well and
aids you. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's what we think, guys. What do you guys think? Put in the comments below. Thank you.